everyone. Welcome. Welcome to today's funnel forging call. It's great to see some real faces here. Welcome. We have gone through a time change. So over here, where I'm located, in Canada and the US, it's daylight savings time. So our time has changed, and that has kind of shifted everything. And it usually takes everybody about 2 to 3 weeks to sort of catch up to what's happening. Plus, in 3 weeks, or maybe 2 weeks now, the UK goes through daylight savings time. So their clocks change. I just wish we'd all get on the same page and change our clocks on the same day. That would be so great. All right, so we are going to get started this morning or this evening, wherever you're located. And we are going to talk today about high ticket sales and what you can do to make your high ticket sales program or course more accessible by offering a payment plan. And what that can do for conversions. Because in this sort of tumultuous economy that we live in today, things can be a little bit tight for people, right? And so if we offer payment plans, we can provide accessibility for people. We can also increase our own sales. And we're going to be able to set that up here in sales process. So we're going to do that today. Got a few more people joining us. Just going to let them in. So good to see all of you today. And so does anyone here have a high ticket sales program that they sell, or high ticket offer that they sell currently? And do you offer a payment plan? Anyone? Okay. Well, that's okay. We'll talk about how we can set that up. So there's a number of sort of high ticket offers in the online space that I've seen. And you obviously have seen them as well because you're in Peng Joon's world, right? He has lots of high ticket offers. He has coaching programs that he offers for people. Those high ticket, I guess, I guess that's sort of subjective. What is high ticket to you? It can be sort of the touch point that is included in the program. So how much accessibility does the person purchasing the program get to you and your expertise? That can be what is considered high ticket. And it usually comes along with a price tag that is, it's hard to put a dollar value on it, but between, I would say, higher than 5,000 and up. And so, I mean, it can be I've seen them at 3,000 as well. So it just depends. But a lot of times it is a bit of a longer program. So maybe it's like 4 to 6 months of coaching, or 6 months to a year of coaching. And that's why the price tag is higher. Spreading it out over a period of time like that also helps to facilitate a payment plan, because you can break the total amount of the program down into monthly payments for people. That makes it more accessible. And it just it just depends on how you want to offer it, right? And high ticket, usually for me in this online space, what that means is proximity to the expertise and the coach. If I have really good accessibility to them, that I am willing to pay more for that expertise. And high ticket usually also means that I'm going to get sort of the inside knowledge, the inside peek at how they do things. And the reason I'm attracted to how they do things is because they've done it really well. They've done it really fast. They've earned a lot of income. They are well respected in their industry. All of those things sort of combine to create high ticket juiciness, I guess, is the way I want to say that. Like, why do people want to buy from you? Why do they want to spend, $5,000 with you? And so there has to be some sort of proof that you can provide the results that they want. And then to make that offer, that accessibility to your expertise, to your knowledge, just really accessible to them. So, does anybody have any questions about high ticket, what you would consider high ticket, or even talking about strategy for high ticket? Does anybody have any questions about that? Feel free to put that into the chat if you have any questions. We have some more people joining us, so I'll just let them in. Okay, so with high ticket and offering a payment plan, what we're looking at for structure here inside and in the tech behind the scenes kind of thing is we want to be able to offer a payment plan, and we want to offer pay in full. And I want to encourage you to also offer an incentive to people who do pay in full. Now, that way you can get people to pay for the full amount based on maybe they receive an extra bonus, maybe they receive some time with you, one-on-one time with you, if they decide to pay in full. But what payment plans do is make your high ticket program more accessible to people, right? And so we're going to walk through how to set that up in sales process. What does that look like inside of the automations, the workflows? How do you track something like that? Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and the very first place we're going to start is we are going to actually start in a pipeline. We're going to build out a pipeline, a very simple pipeline that's just going to help us track whether someone paid in full or they're on a payment plan for our high ticket. All right. And let me just see if there's anyone else here. Okay, perfect. Karen says that Christine is asking, if you go by monthly payment, would it be possible for them to stop paying halfway? So that's a very good question, Christine, because people can ultimately stop stop their credit card payments, right? They can ultimately stop that, but it's very rare that happens because people join because they want to be part of it. And also, if it is a coaching program and they stop paying, then they lose access to the coaching, right? So it's not unheard of, but it does happen. Yes. And Karen says, I'm offering high ticket programs via networking acquisition. Would this come after our first product in the funnel? Oh, okay. So Karen, you're putting a low ticket in front of a higher ticket item? Is that what you're sort of trying to set up?
Maybe easier to answer you this
Yeah,
way.
that's great. Go right
Hi,
ahead.
Tamara.
Hi.
Yeah. So, no, actually, I'm having my clients via networking. I haven't set up a funnel yet. So, I was just wondering, once I set up this funnel, would the first product be like the lower price product, and then later on the higher ticket product?
It really just depends. If your goal is to sell the high ticket product, then I think you should offer that right away, especially if you're warming people up at a networking event, right? You're getting to know them. So, um, yeah, Jodine, we're all trying to figure out daylight savings time. I feel you. I've taught two classes now. Nobody was here. So I'm
No,
so ecstatic to see everybody.
no, Tamara, you weren't there. We were there.
Yeah,
You actually clicked us away.
it's because of the time zone, Karen. The time zone change, the daylight savings time zone.
Oh,
So what
Yeah.
time are you actually starting though? Is it 7
It-
or
well,
6?
it's
oh.
5 a.m. Pacific time. So 5 a.m. Los Angeles time.
So then 7 Central.
7 Central, yes.
Okay. All right. I was just
Yes.
because
So for us, the time hasn't changed, right? So for
Right.
you, it
And
has
so
changed, and you were not
that's
aware. Yeah.
yeah, but that's always we run into this issue every year. Every year at daylight savings time, we run into this issue. And so for like 2 weeks, I teach to no one because nobody's here. But I always make an announcement in the group. But it's always a struggle because the UK will change. They'll go through daylight savings time in 2 weeks from now. They're usually 3 weeks difference from us. And I don't know, does Malaysia go through daylight savings time at all? No,
No,
not at all. It stays the same time all the time.
no, and I know a few other people who were actually waiting for you. So we were all waiting, writing to each other, but you were not there. So we were
Yes.
there just to say, like, it was not that we're not interested. We are actually really
No,
interested in
yes,
your
I know,
courses.
Karen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. It's just I go through it every year. Every year it happens. And I wish we would just abolish daylight savings time. Get rid of it. It's just annoying and everybody doesn't know what time it is for 3 weeks. Like nobody knows what time it is.
you know what,
It's just annoying.
they asked Trump about it and he said the problem with it, it's a 50-50. There's 50% people that want to keep it and 50% that want to do away with it. He said, so it's hard to change. He goes, if it was, a 27 or 2080, it'd be easy, but a 50-50, because, and a lot of it boils down to the parents don't wanting to take their kids to school in the dark. And he's like, why don't we just talk to the schools and tell them to start later? It's like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
but
it's very annoying. And especially when parts of the world change it sooner than others. Like, so we change it before the UK changes it. They wait 3 weeks to change their daylight savings time, then they change. Like, it's just confusing for everybody.
I see. So we were
Nobody knows
wondering.
what time it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to the issue, sorry to just like make things a bit clearer. Currently, I'm not having a funnel at sales process yet. So I'm
Okay.
doing everything via networking. I'm actually most of the time this is high ticket programs for 6 months to 1 year or so. So right now I'm trying to set up a funnel, but I cannot really choose what to do. So whether I should go for low price product or for me relatively low price, or whether I should go for the really like high priced projects. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
that would be my question. So would you first like position a normal product, let's say around like uh, for me it would be like 5,000 euros,
Right.
$5,000,
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
normal product price, or
Yeah.
would you rather go for something that is more like let's say $25,000 high
It
ticket?
depends on your audience, right? How well do they know you, Karen? Have they had an experience with you already? Have they had a chance to get to know what it's like to work with you? And then that makes it easier to sell high ticket, right? because
Yeah, I know.
they already know you, they already like you, they already trust you. So if
Yeah, but
they don't know you, you'd probably want to start with a lower ticket item.
exactly. So
Yeah.
that's the whole thing. Like when you set up a funnel like this, the whole idea is to like expand the whole business. So instead of like doing all the acquisition by myself, so then you would start with like, well, it's not very low, but relatively low ticket products, right? And
Yes.
not with the
Yes.
high ticket
Yeah.
products. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Then I would start with the lower ticket, give them that experience, let them experience what it's like to work with you, and then you can present them with the higher ticket offer,
Yeah,
right?
right. So, and then like if I usually work with big companies, so they wouldn't really need a monthly plan, right? So
Oh,
you're
okay.
more talking about business owners,
Yes.
etc. Who are,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
If you're if you're working with corporations, they're just they have a budget. They're like, yeah, I need to use this budget every
exactly.
year, so they're happy to pay in full, right? So, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
it's no problem.
yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, so what we're going to do inside of sales process, we're going to start with, like I said, a pipeline. It's going to be a very simple pipeline, and it's just going to help us track where people are in our process. So I'm going to share my screen. And inside our sales process account, we are going to go over to the left-hand side, and right here is it's called opportunities, but this is where we're going to build our pipeline. So we're going to click and build our pipeline. When we're building a pipeline, we're always thinking about this different stages that we want to track our customer in. Which are the stages that are the most important? And in a high ticket funnel, you're going to track basically three things, especially if we have a payment plan, right? So we're going to track the purchase. Did they pay in full? Purchase, payment plan, or lost, right? Did we lose the sale completely? And the reason it's important to track losses is that's how you can tell if your sales and marketing is working, right? If you actually have somebody come in, give you their information, so they actually fill out the first part of the order form, they give you their name, they give you their email, and then for whatever reason they don't purchase, if you have a lot of those people that come to your funnel, you're going to know that something's not working, right? Something is off in your messaging. You might have a tech issue, right? What is causing it so that the sale isn't completed? So those are the three stages that we're going to track, and we're going to go up here to pipelines, and we're going to build a pipeline. All right. So we're going to create a new pipeline, and our pipeline's name, I'm just going to call it. And then you'd probably want to put in your program name. Okay. And then we're going to so pipelines, when we look at the pipeline after we create it, from top to bottom reads left to right. Okay. So stage name at the top is going to be the very first column on the left-hand side. And so for that one, I would want to say purchase, pay, and I put it PIF as in pay in full, right? And then purchase, payment plan, and then the last stage is going to be lost. We can add one more stage in here and we can move it to the top. We can say abandon cart, and we can just move this right to the very top, because ultimately that's the very first indication that they are in our world, is if they just fill out the first part of the order form, right? And they don't complete the payment. So we have abandoned cart, purchase, pay in full, purchase payment plan, and then lost. And so we're going to click save. And then that's our pipeline here, and that's how we're going to track everything. The next step to this is to take a look at the funnel pages that are required. Okay, so I have a high ticket sales funnel here, and we're just going to talk about the different stages. This one is a template that is offered inside of your account, but what I want to add in here is instead, the way that they're looking at this template is looking at a high ticket is that they're selling strategy calls at high ticket. And I want to change that to an actual program. So I want to insert here a order form. So I'm going to find an order form and I'm going to add it to that funnel. So let's see. Oh yeah, you know what? These don't have anything in them. So let me just grab the order form. Let's try this one and see if it has an order form. It does. Okay. So I'm actually going to show you guys how you can clone a page and put it in another funnel. So I'm going to clone this order form page. I'm going to go over here, clone the funnel step. And I don't want to clone it in the funnel that it's in. I want to clone it to my account. And then I want to clone it to this March 25 high ticket funnel. So I'm actually going to copy, it's like copy and pasting this page into another funnel. And then I'm just going to click add. And it takes a second here while it does that. Then I'm going to go back to that funnel and take a look at it. And I'm going to move things around. So you can see here now the order form's been added. And so I want that to be right here. And I'm going to just move these down to the bottom because I'm not going to use those. I'm going to have my sales page. I'm going to change the name of this, my order form, and my thank you page. So to change the name of my opt-in page to sales page, I just go in here and I'll change the path here. There we go. So here we have our sales page. Here they click to place their order, right? And then we have, if they purchase, then they land on the thank you page, okay? The next thing that we need to do is we need to go and set up our product in the payments section. So here we're going to set up 2 versions of this product. And I'm going to show you why I set up 2 versions of the product the way that I do. It's a tech thing. Once we get to the automations, you need to be able to tell the difference between the 2 products. And so you may have noticed that in products, when we go to products, when you go to create a product, you can put in variations of prices. You can have like a pay in full price and a payment plan price. But what I actually like to do is I like to create those very separately. So I'm going to choose to create a product and I'm going to say March 2025 pay in full. And I'm going to scroll down to where I'm going to set up the price. So it's going to be pay in full. So that means it's going to be a one-time price. And here I can put in my price for $10,000, okay? And I'll change my currency to US dollars. And that's all I need to do. I can click save. And save again. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to create a payment plan. Same product though, right? So I go up here to products and I'm going to create my product And I'm going to say so here we are going to set this up a little differently. So let's say that this is going to not be a one-time, this is going to be a recurring payment product, right? And then I have to tell the system how many payments do I want it to be? And the total obviously is going to be 10,000. And I'll change this to US dollars. And then let's say I want the payment to be, actually, it wouldn't be the total amount, it would be the payment amount. So it's going to be $2,000. Sorry about that. Monthly, and the number of payments is going to be 5. Okay. So this equals 10,000. But what I'm putting here is the amount of the payment, the fact that it's recurring, it's going to be charged monthly. Now you can change this. You can change it to weekly, yearly. You can make it custom if you want. But most commonly is monthly, right? And then you have to tell the system how many payments are you going to collect. And then that's it. Now I can tell when I go back out of here, I can look at my products in my list and I can see I have one that's high ticket payment plan and I have one that's pay in full. Okay. So now I have my payments created. I need to go back to my funnel and attach those to the order form. So we're going to go back over here to funnels. And I have to go to my order form here. And then I have to add my products by adding them right here. So I'm going to choose to add the product. And the first one I'm going to add is the pay in full. And then I'm going to save that. And then I'm also going to add the payment plan. And I just want to point out, once this is hooked up here, it's taking a little second. Just refresh, see what's happening. We have a slow moving software this morning. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen because sometimes that helps to speed up the load process. Try that again.
Meanwhile, can I maybe ask you
Yes, go ahead, Karen.
something? Yeah, while we're
Yeah,
waiting. So, why did you put lost in your list?
because it's important to also track the sales that you didn't get, right? So what that's going to do, it's going to track anybody who gives us their first their name and their email in the first part of the order form, but then doesn't decide to buy. Okay?
Oh, and that's not abandoned.
Yeah, it is abandoned, but our abandoned cart column would be attached to an email series where we try to get them to come back to purchase, right? And even if so we want to track that they go into the abandoned cart purchase. But if they don't, even after those emails are sent to them to bring them back to purchase and they still don't buy, we want to
Hmm.
track the fact that that didn't work, right? We want to
Ah,
be able to
okay.
track that and to say that it didn't work. So sorry, this thing is making me sign in again, and I have to put my code in, and I can't do both at the same time. There we go. And so that's why we have a lost column, is because we're tracking to see, did our abandoned cart work? And we can also tell by having a lost column, it will help us identify if there's any sort of tech issues, like if somebody can't complete a sale, what's happening, right? So that's why we do that. It's important to track your losses and your wins.
Yeah, right. I thought it was abandoned cart. So, but it's after all messages they haven't bought in the
That's
end,
right.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just having to add that again. Okay, looks like we're back up and running here, guys. I will share my screen again. Okay, so I was able to add both products now to the order form, and you'll notice the $10,000 pay in full is a one-time payment. The payment plan is a recurring payment of $2,000. Okay, so let's take a look at what that looks like on the order form. As a buyer, what does that look like, right? So if we go, I just want to make sure I'm in test mode here. And then we'll go to the order form and take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so on our order form here, this is where the abandoned cart information is captured, right? If we put in this is where it's capturing my name, my email. Then if I go to step 2, it's going to show me the products that I can purchase. So here you see high ticket pay in full, $10,000, or high ticket payment plan, $2,000. So they can only choose one. It's either one or the other that they have to click on. And then they put in their information here. Oops. And then you also, now on order forms, you get this option to save your credit card on file if you want. You don't have to though. And then we would complete the order. So that's what it looks like when you offer. You actually basically make two products. You make the pay in full product and you make the payment plan product. And this is what your buyer sees when they go through to purchase. It looks like this. Now, I would add more explanation, obviously, rather than just putting this in an order form like this, because you need to be able to tell them, like, you can choose to pay in full, and I would include this in my sales copy on my sales funnel. Here's what you get if you pay in full. You get this, and this bonus of an hour one-on-one with me or whatever, right? And if you choose the payment plan, you get this, and this without the one-on-one with me. So that's how you can incentivize someone to pay in full, but still offer a payment plan to make it more accessible to people. Now I saw some questions come in. Christine says, I noticed installment plan usually adds up to be more than a single payment. Is this a normal practice? That's such a great point to bring up, Christine. So there's lots of sort of talk and controversy around whether you should charge a premium for payment plans. And industry standard is to add an additional 20% to the total price. So you would add 20% to the $2,000 payment times 5 in this case. And what people have said in the past is that they are adding the 20% to cover additional credit card fees and the additional processing administration of a payment plan. And that's absolutely fair, right? Industry standard is about 20% that you add on to cover those costs. And then some people say that by charging a premium, you are making it harder for people who don't have the money to pay in full. You're sort of penalizing them by charging them more. And so it really becomes like an ethical kind of thing. What are you okay with? As a business owner, it's up to you what you charge. And some people feel like, I'm not going to charge 20%. Maybe I'll charge 4% to cover the administration fees of payment plans and just administering them. So that's kind of the talk there that is out there. The arguments for both, like for and against for payment plans. So it really ends up it comes down to what you want to do. What feels good for you. And as a business owner, you have to cover your costs, right? So you can't take a loss on payment plans. So if you choose to charge 5% or whatever to cover the administration fees, but a lot of people do charge 20%, which can seem excessive. So it's up to you. And then what else do we have? How often does it happen that people choose the payment plan? That depends. That depends on your audience. It depends on so many things. I wish I could give you a number, Karen, but it just really just depends. It depends on, it can depend on the economy that you're marketing to, right? Is it a good economy? Are people flush with cash? That sort of thing. So it just depends. But I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that this is what this looks like on the back end here. And now what we'll do is we're going to take this over.
Can I ask a quick question on this real quick?
Yes, Gloria, of course.
Thank you so much. So what if I had as per like the form right now, let's say I have a set charge, like that would be no matter if they do the pay in full or the payment plan. Like just what's there right now is like a setup fee. So if we added actually it's not a setup fee, it's a membership fee. So like there's a fixed membership fee, and then they can choose to pay the other additional fees. They can choose from different levels to pay. So it's not this situation. It's actually a different one. It's like there's a upfront $299 that they pay, and then there's a recurring, and there's 3 levels, so they can choose which one. So how would I do the set one that they pay one time?
So the one-time fee can only be like you said it. You're correct in that when you're setting it up in the product space, you call that a setup fee, right? But it can only be attached to recurring payments. So in this case, what you would have to do is you would have to roll that number, that $295, into each product. So it would be $10,295, and it would be $2,000. You could actually add this in as a one-time setup fee of $2,295 would be their first payment, and then additional payments would be $2,000 a month.
Okay, so I would still have 2 products then, is what you're saying? I would have a set one-time fee that would be like their first payment, and it would be a different amount, and then the ongoing would be the recurring.
That's correct. Did you see that inside? I can show you, like in products here. If we look at the recurring products, again, this is something that you would have to create if you were wanting to do that to the one-time pay in full. You would have to make this, instead of $10,000, it'd be $10,295.
Okay.
Here in this one, you can actually create it so that, let's go into the price here. We'll change this a bit. You can see here that it's $2,000 a month, but you could create the $295 for the setup fee. And then you're going to save that. And what happens is the very first payment then is going to be $2,295, and then the additional payments after that are $2,000 each.
I
So
see.
we'll go look at that again through this.
And so while that's coming up, all right, let's see what you got.
So you see how it's showing $2,295.
And it doesn't identify it. It just shows.
No. So you would
Okay.
need to explain that in your copy somewhere on your order form.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I do have a set membership price, but it's not a setup fee. So it's a set one-time membership fee, and then after that, there's a recurring monthly. So can I do that on the same order form?
Yeah, you may not call it a setup fee. That's just the way it's identified when you set up your product. You can call it whatever you want.
Okay, so it's still rolled in. It's not going to be a separate one-time product.
Because there's no way to make one product mandatory
I see.
and the rest optional.
Mm,
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you can't break
yeah,
that out and make that mandatory and the rest optional.
got it. So I can't say, okay, you have to pay this,
Yep,
and then you get to choose the one from the other three.
that's right.
Okay, that's not possible. Okay, good. Thank you. That was very
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions before I move on to order forms or to automations? Feel free to unmute, you guys. We love a question. Hey, Jeandre, how are ya?
Hi, Tamara. I'm doing good, and yourself?
Good, good.
That's good. I have two questions. Does the recurring option work with PayPal?
So it does, but PayPal has very strict rules around recurring payments. You can't attach recurring payments and order bumps and one-time offers together. That's when you'll lose the payment plan option, or sorry, that's when you'll lose PayPal as a payment option. If you combine recurring payments with an order bump or a one-time offer, it
Yeah.
will not allow you to use PayPal as a processor.
Okay. And if I if I just have a payment option, then I can only have one payment option on PayPal.
You can have more than one option. You just can't combine it with an order bump or a one-time offer.
Okay, so I'm gonna have one step in the funnel with a payment, and then another step in the funnel with different payment. Do I understand that correctly?
Okay, are they both recurring payments?
No, no, it's not recurring. I was just looking at the payment plan for the recurring options, but it's just a once off, both of them.
Okay. Yeah, so then you can definitely offer PayPal if they're just one-time off or one-time payments. You can offer PayPal. You just have to set up your PayPal in your settings of your payments menu.
Yeah, I have set that up. Another question that I just had: how does the order bump work? In what practically, how would you set that up? So I have a course that I want to do, and then or a 3-day challenge that I'm doing, and I just need to I want to have a VIP option. How would that work?
So I want to make sure we're talking about the same thing, because sometimes these terms get used interchangeably, and it's fine. But so
Yeah.
an order bump is usually what we consider a really fast yes. So we're talking like between $7 and $47. It's like
Okay.
an add-on. That's
Yeah.
what an order bump is. A one-time offer is where you're presenting them with one of your higher ticket items at a reduced price. And they can only find it within that particular sales funnel at that price.
Okay. In this case, it would be an order bump.
Okay. Yes. So then you want to know how to set that up on an order form?
Yes. Do I
Okay.
need an order form step in the funnel?
To set up an order bump? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So to set up an order bump on your order form here, in your products, you have to identify it as a bump. So let's say this, we're going to edit this price here. On the products, when you're adding it, down here at the additional options, you're going to say this is a bump product. This is not a regular product, this is a bump product. So you save that. And then what that looks like, because you'll see here, now it's identified as a bump product. Here it says bump. On the order form, if we look at it, if we go through, sorry, we have to add it in here as well. So we have to go into the builder, and we have to actually go in and add it to the order form as a bump as well. So we go to the pop-up, because that's where our order form is. Click on the order form. And what we're doing is we go into the advanced section, and down here is where you have to fill out your order bump information. So you're going to add the bump product, and you would put in the headline here. I'll just show you what this looks like.
Yeah.
And then you can save that. You can add a picture there as well. And then what this does is this is what it looks like here. And then they can just check box it to add it to their order.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Thank you
how,
very
so
much, Tamara.
yeah, for sure. That's how that works. Okay. So I'm going to shut that off.
So not to throw you off too much more, but then how would you do a one-time offer?
A one-time offer is actually done on a separate page from your order form, and you set it up through a button. So if we look at, let's just go to a sales page here. We'll go in and look at, if we're going to set up.
So like typically like they would go like, okay, well, you bought this $47 thing. Now I've got a one-time offer for you where you can now get the, we can just add this extra thing for $97 or whatever it is.
Yep. Definitely. Yeah, you just do that through a button.
Okay.
So you can choose this button here. And down here in the button actions is where you identify if it's a one-time offer or not. So you click on the button actions and you scroll to one click up, down, sell product.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Okay. And then you choose the product. I don't have one on this page, so it's not letting me choose, but then you would choose the product, and then you tell the system what to do if they add that product to their cart. Where do you want them to go? To the thank you page, to a website URL. So technically, you have to have two buttons when you have an upsell, right? You have a yes button, add it to my order, or a no thank you button.
Okay. And
Okay.
do I need to identify that product as a one-time offer?
Yes, of course. On your sales page, like you would put in here, you know how you
Right.
always see them,
But
they have like
but
the
not,
wait, we're not
I'm so sorry,
wait.
but not like where we had to identify it as a bump order, as a bump product. We don't have to do that.
No,
Okay. Okay.
no, you just have to attach it to the page.
Okay.
So back here, we would attach it to the page. It has to be added to the page here.
Got it.
And then you'll be able to choose it for the button action as the upsell
Oh,
in
okay.
the builder.
But it won't show up on the order form.
Not on the order form. No, it's always in the page after the order form. So
Got
you've
it.
collected all their payment information, right?
Yeah.
And then this just adds that to their order.
So I have to create another, like basically a second sales
Another
page. Yeah.
another page, yep.
Got it. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sorry, Tamara, will that for the one-time offer, will that go through as the same payment, or is it a different payment from the client?
That is such a great question. So here's the thing with your main product and your order bump, if they purchase both, that goes through as one transaction. If they add on the one-time offer, it goes through as a separate transaction.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
This is so helpful. You are awesome. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so glad you guys are here. It's been lonely the past couple days. I'm just so glad you guys are here. Okay, I do want to quickly get through. Oh, just one sec. I'll see. There's some questions here. Yes. Yeah, okay. Perfect. We are going to jump in now and see. I need to change this from a bump here, though. Hold on. Main product. Okay. We're back there. Now we're going to go and we're going to go to our workflows, and I'm going to show you how we can put this into the proper columns in our pipeline and identify the people, whether they paid in full or whether they were a payment plan. Okay. So we've set up our products on our order form, and that's what we need to fire off our workflows. So we're going to go over here and we're in automations, and we're going to go to create workflow. And our order form is going to be what triggers this. Now, of course, we can always, we can use order form submitted, or we can use order submission and use it as a global product. But a lot of times when you're doing, especially if you're combining it with order bumps and order or one-time offers, you're only offering this at a certain price point within this funnel. So for this one, let's just say it'll be easier for me to show you here. Okay, so we are actually going to have two triggers on this order, on this workflow here. The first trigger is going to be our order form. So you see here how we have, when you type in the word order, you get order submitted or order form submission. We're going to use order form submission. We have to tell the system, where is this order form located? What funnel is it in? So I'm telling it what funnel it's in. And what submission type am I looking for? You can identify the page as well. You can go as far as to say it's this order form and it's this product, you can say. And I'm going to say this one here is my pay in full. And The submission type is sale. So here I want to differentiate. So I want to say PIF, pay in full. That's what's going to trigger this. When somebody purchases the pay in full product on the order form, that's what's going to fire off this workflow. So I'm going to click save. Then I want to also identify the payment plan. So I'm going to choose another trigger, same one, order form submission. And again, I have to tell the system, where is that order form? So it's my order form there. And then I'm also going to tell it what product it is. And this time I'm choosing payment plan. And I have to tell it the submission type is a sale. So here I'm going to put in payment plan. Then I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to save the triggers. Now, the very first thing I'm going to do is I want to select two different paths for this because I want different actions to happen based on whether they paid in full or if it was a payment plan. So I have to insert a condition here. So I want the system to check. Did they pay in full or did they choose payment plan? So a condition, they call it if else, which makes my brain hurt. I don't know why you call this if else, because that's not how my brain works. My brain works with questions. So I always change the condition to a question. How did they pay? Did they pay in full or did they choose the payment plan? So branch number 1 of my condition is going to be pay in full. And the way I tell the system to check for this is which trigger of this automation fired. So which workflow fired? So I say workflow trigger is pay in full order form submission. Okay. Then I'm going to add a branch here. And this one's going to be payment plan. And again, I tell the system workflow trigger is payment plan order form. And then you're always going to have a branch it's called a none branch. And that's just if a contact goes through the workflow and doesn't qualify for either one of those branches, and then it just falls out. So it's kind of like an error branch if something happened, right? So here we've built a condition. We're asking the system, how did they pay? If they paid in full, they're going to come down this branch. If they chose the payment plan, they're going to come down this branch. So if they chose pay in full, I want to be able to update opportunity. Okay. So I want to, these are the new ones. Okay, hold on. I'm going to use the old one. We're going to use update. Here we go. This one here is, we want to tell the system which pipeline do we want to update. We want to update this pipeline that we created right at the very beginning of the class today. And then we want to tell it which column does it belong in. So this belongs in the pay in full column. And then here you can use custom values to pull in the person's name. Sometimes I like to pull in the date. So I'll use the tag and go to like right now. These are like timestamps that you can create. And you can choose day, month, year for the date. So what'll appear in the columns is the person's name and the date that they purchased. You can add whatever you want in here. Like it's up to you what is important information. But those are kind of the two things that I like to grab. You can put in here the source. So if you want to put in here, like mine was called the March 2025 funnel, you can put that in there, right? Then you can also track your lead values. So for this one, I would put in 10,000. So here I would put in 10,000. And the status is either open, won, lost, or abandoned. Well, they made a purchase, so I won that. I won that, right? And here you can turn these toggles on. Basically, the toggle is, do you want the person to be able to move backwards in your pipeline? In this case, I don't. And do I want to allow duplicate opportunities? That means, do I want this person to be able to purchase more than once? And usually with high ticket programs, they're only purchasing once, right? Especially like if it's coaching or whatever. They're just purchasing it the one time, but you can turn this on if you want them to be able to purchase more than once. And then we click save. And I always like to change the name of this too. I always change this to update, whatever the name of my pipeline is. Okay. So that's how we get the opportunity or the person to show up in the proper column of the pipeline. Now here's a little trick. I also want to do the same thing kind of over here, but they're going to end up in the different stage, right? So I'm just going to copy this action so I don't have to do the whole thing all over again. Copy the action and I'm going to place it here. Then I'm going to open the action and just change which stage they go in. So I'm going to change them to payment plan here. And again, my lead value is the same. This is the same. So I save. Okay, any questions about that? Feel free to unmute.
How did you copy that?
Ah, yes.
I just
I
missed
just
that,
clicked.
sorry.
No, that's okay. You just click on the three dots. And this gives you actions that you can do. You can add notes. You can copy the action. You can move the action or you can delete it. So I just chose copy. And then you can, if there was actions underneath, I could choose to copy all the actions underneath it, or I can just choose to copy the action. So if I copy the action, then it shows me all the places that I can copy it to, and I just click on where I want it to go. So if I copy it here, then it goes there. Okay?
Thank you. Yes.
You're welcome. Does all of that make sense? Because I know conditions can be, if I have to think about a condition in the form of, if this happens, then do this, it makes my brain hurt so bad. So I always change it to a question. I change it to, how did they pay? And then I build the branches on it. Or you can, a condition can be anything. Like, what are you trying to figure out with your condition? Ask the question, and then the answers become the branches, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. I had a quick question on whether you want them to be able to purchase again.
Yes.
Is that just for that product or them ever moving forward with us?
Nope, that's just for the product.
Okay.
Just for that product. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah. So, of course, additionally, we would then want to also send them an email, right? We would probably want to add a tag to them. So you would build out the actions that you want to happen based on which branch they're in. So we would add a contact tag here. We could choose, however you choose to do it. So if it's product name, purchase product name, you could add that tag. And then you could also do the same thing here, right? Then you maybe want to send them an email and, welcome them to the program, tell them what their next steps are, anything like that, right? So I'm just going to put in here that you would send them an email. Same thing in the, and if you didn't want to duplicate this stuff, like, you know how these are duplicated actions, you could move them up here to above where it branches off. So in this case, I could go like this and I could move them, and I'll move all actions from here, and I could put them up here, and then I could get rid of these actions down here because it's just duplicating the action if I'm adding the same tag, sending the same email, right? The only thing that needs to be differentiated is which stage of the pipeline they're in, right? Does that make sense? So then I just make my workflow a little more streamlined in that any action that I'm applying to all of the contacts, whether they've paid in full or payment plan, I move them up here. And then I only put the actions that pertain to whether or not they chose pay in full or payment plan. I move them down into the branches area. Okay. So that is the lesson for today. We chose, or we set up a high ticket funnel with a pipeline. We gave them the pay in full option and the payment plan option. And we set up the automation to be able to track their what they chose to pay. And so the homework for the Facebook contest is just a screenshot of this workflow that you built yourself. Okay? And you can post that in the Facebook group with the hashtag sales process wins. And that's your entry for the homework today. Any questions, guys?
Just a question about,
Yes, Karen.
not about today, but what did you do like the last 2 sessions? Can you?
Oh, the last session I taught, my memory's bad. Let me check. The first session that was
last
dynamic countdown timers. It was a countdown timer on that you can add to an email or to your sales funnel to increase urgency in purchase. And I used it in an abandoned cart sequence. And then last week was, let me see. Not last week. Earlier this week was testimonials. That's what it was. I was like, what? I've taught a few classes in between since then, but testimonials, how to add testimonials, where you should add them on your sales funnel. So client testimonials, where you should add them and how they can help with conversions.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was great to see all the faces today. It was so good to have all of you here. It's way, way more fun to have people than no people.
Yeah, I feel the same.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. All right. Well, you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and we are back here again for the calls starting again on Tuesday. So I'll be back.
Yeah, and then on Thursday we will all be in Langkawi, right?
Not me, but you
No,
guys.
I know.
Yes.
So we won't be there.
You won't be here. That's right. I will be watching. You
So
guys have an
sorry.
amazing time. That's so amazing. Yes, you guys, that's right. Next week is the big event. All right, you guys have a great rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you again.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Tamara.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day.